Anyways, Amahane Madoka is a character full of potential in the Aikatsu anime, which I've discovered by analyzing all of her experiences and motivations. This is a thorough deep dive containing spoilers for the entire original series. If that's okay with you, let's get started. Amahane Madoka's story starts with the fashion brand Angel Sugar, since her grandmother is Amahane Asuka, the head designer of Angel Sugar. Madoka visits her grandmother at her studio on Angel Mountain starting when she's a tiny baby. She grows up surrounded by gardens, libraries, and most importantly, dresses. Madoka is incredibly inspired by Angel Sugar's dresses. She later says, "I could think of nothing but how I wanted to wear one myself when I grew up." And although Madoka already seems to be a well-dressed little girl, the idea of these grown-up dresses still compels her, especially once her grandmother tells her that Angel Sugar dresses are reserved for idols. Unlike being a well-dressed little girl, being an idol is a job, which instantly gives Madoka something to aspire to. It's not enough to be cute or wear normal dresses, she will have to become an idol to achieve her dream, which is a bit inconvenient because Madoka doesn't have much of an interest in singing or dancing. However, it's not that practical obstacle that becomes a problem for her. Even though Asuka encourages Madoka to follow her dreams, Madoka eventually becomes intimidated by her. The more opportunities she gets to observe her grandmother working on new dresses, the more Madoka focuses on how difficult it seems to be. One day, Asuka tells Madoka a particularly intense story about the idols that wear her dresses. She says that they come with a steel resolve, both for the pain if she were to refuse as well as the pressure they must shoulder should she not. That alone sounds scary to Madoka, the small child, but Asuka continues. "They train to their limits, and when they finally come to see me, some idols even climb that precipitous cliff to demonstrate their resolve." The cliff Asuka is referring to is a literal cliff outside of her mountain peak studio, and the challenge of that feat is not lost on Madoka. Asuka explains that the idol's willpower is what drives her to take her work so seriously, and Madoka interprets this as her grandmother putting her life on the line to make her dresses. After hearing all of this, it's very difficult for Madoka to work up the courage to actually try being an idol. "The Angel Sugar dresses that surrounded me," she later admits, "started to seem the farthest thing away." Even though Madoka still spends plenty of quality time with Asuka and they still talk about the idol industry, she never mentions wanting to wear Angel Sugar again. While other girls get to work on child modeling careers and music lessons, Madoka abstains from anything remotely idol related. Instead, at the end of her final year of elementary school, she takes a huge risk and applies to Starlight Academy, a famous idol school. The application form asks 2 questions: reason for applying, and do you have any prior idol experience? To which she answers, because it's a famous idol school, and no, respectively. But in the notes section, she makes sure to write, "My grandmother is Angel Sugar's top designer, Amahane Asuka." With an application like that, nepotism is the only reasonable explanation for Madoka's acceptance into Starlight Academy. Her application must have looked exactly like thousands that the school received that year alone, so the only way that she got through the first round would have been because of her family connections. And from there, the school must have decided that her singing and dancing skills were at least passable. The application also reveals a lot about Madoka since she's the one who wrote and submitted it. She wants to apply because the school is famous, implying that she wants to benefit from its prestigious reputation. Maybe even believing that the school will do the heavy lifting in turning her into an idol worthy of Angel Sugar. But the portion of the application dedicated to idol experience takes up the majority of the page. Leaving it blank would have felt like an obvious dead end. So the decision to include the note about her famous grandmother feels like an act of desperation. Despite her fear of the idol industry, the thought of missing her chance to wear Angel Sugar as a real idol scares her more. And if nepotism is all she has to work with, she'll use it. The one thing we know that Madoka works on is her appearance. The Aikatsu official guidebook Akari Generation says that she makes sure to put in the effort to make herself look cute. She purposely cultivates a cheerful, angelic persona, perfectly matching the Angel Sugar brand concept. This persona allows Madoka to make a good first impression on her fellow students on her first day at Starlight Academy. Her mentor, Sumire, is very nice, and so are her mentor's friends. Madoka is genuinely excited to be surrounded by real idols for the first time. She's especially excited to meet her new roommate, Kurosawa Rin, who she finds very cute, or irresistible in her words. When the 2 new students get to their dorm room, Madoka is happy to discover that Rin is just as interested in her. And to her delight, Rin offers to help her unpack, invites her to be her partner in their first audition, and is a top-class dancer. It's easy for Madoka to become enamored with her in the span of a single morning. Madoka and Rin spend their first day of school training for their first audition, and Madoka has a great time learning from and learning about Rin. It's a pretty natural dynamic for Madoka to maintain since Rin is easy to read and keeps going as long as Madoka praises her. But Rin's belief in her potential as an idol still surprises Madoka, and it's in those moments that she becomes even more attached to her new friend. Thanks to Rin's help, the pair are able to win their audition, and Madoka quickly assesses the result. She knows that Rin has the skill to win all on her own, so if they were able to win together, it must be because Madoka was the right partner for her. The contrast between Rin's polished dance and Madoka's rookie cuteness must have been the key to their appeal. And when Rin calls her out on phrasing it too bluntly, Madoka is quick to appease her with a playful gesture. Thankfully, Rin doesn't seem to mind Madoka's straightforward, analytical side. They spend plenty of time adjusting to their new school together and become close friends. Even when Rin is invited to join Madoka's mentor Sumire as her unit partner, Madoka is right there, eagerly watching their progress. She even helps them patch things up when Rin gets hurt and tries to quit. When Rin and Sumire debut as the unit dancing diva, Madoka continues to support her friend. Rin misses a lot of school, so Madoka copies class notes for her. And as dancing diva gets more popular and Rin gets farther away, Madoka starts to want her own unit partner. A desire that only grows as she watches her friend Juri make romantic partner proposals around campus. Without Rin to hang out with, Madoka mostly spends time with the older students. She gets particularly close to Akari, Sumire's roommate, since they share a lot of responsibilities in supporting Dancing Diva's schoolwork. And as luck would have it, Akari is also interested in finding a unit partner. When Sumire asks Akari to help mentor Madoka in her place, Akari ends up helping Madoka prepare for an upcoming concert. The event is for rookie idols, but Madoka still feels intimidated by the scale of the venue. She's improved a lot, but she's still not confident that she's passionate enough to make it as an idol. Even worse, Akari asks Madoka what dress she has in mind for her performance, and Madoka is ashamed to admit that she still has her heart set on Angel Sugar. Madoka explains her conflicted feelings about the brand to Akari, and Akari reassures her that she already has plenty of passion. If Madoka lacks self-confidence, then they'll train to help her build faith in herself. But almost a week into Akari's dedicated training regimen for her, Madoka still doesn't feel confident. She was still dependent on Akari's help, so it didn't feel like she gained the iron will her grandmother talked about at all. It's only with Akari's confession that she also lacks self-confidence that Madoka's perspective begins to change. No one starts out thinking they've made it already, Akari reminds her. But I've seen your efforts, believe in me. Akari brings up Angel Sugar's famous brand representative, Hoshimiya Ichigo, as an example of someone who was successful without feeling perfect. And Madoka finally sees her point. Lacking confidence was a perfectly logical source of motivation. Maybe it was precisely because they lacked confidence that idols had to steel themselves and scale mountains. With this new insight, Madoka agrees to go see her grandmother, to finally ask for that Angel Sugar dress. Akari goes with her for support, and when they finally get to the foot of Angel Mountain, Madoka decides to climb the cliff herself. Luckily, Aikatsu idols are gifted rock climbers by nature, and she successfully makes it to the top, shocking the gardener who has known her for most of her life. Madoka is still nervous when they get inside the studio though. She does her best to project confidence when Asuka enters the room, and she talks seriously about her dedication to her idol career. She may not be Hoshimiya Ichigo or even qualified to stand in her shadow, but she has faced her fears and done her best to become worthy of Angel Sugar. Asuka, of course, approves of her. She explains that she'd worried about Madoka's sudden loss of interest in her dresses. She'd always loved watching Madoka discover the world around her, and Madoka's curiosity had inspired the very dresses she'd come to idolize. As a tribute to Madoka's curiosity, Asuka has already prepared a special dress for her. As a child, Madoka often read Alice in Wonderland at the studio, and Asuka used the story as inspiration. It's your turn to see a new world with one of my dresses, she tells Madoka, and Madoka promises to shine on stage with it. Madoka is extremely proud of her concert performance, and she is extremely grateful to Akari for helping her achieve her dream. So naturally, she makes her next goal convincing Akari to become her unit partner. She practices multiple approaches to asking her, and when she feels ready, she heads out to find her friend. Madoka expects Akari to have some kind of hesitation about partnering with her. She pulls out all the stops to be as cute as possible and explain how important their week of training together was to her and give Akari time to think about it, but none of it ends up being necessary. Akari is happy to join her, no questions asked. This unexpected outcome has Madoka a bit worried at first, but she's able to turn her doubt into curiosity. If she doesn't understand why Akari said yes so easily, she'll just have to learn more about her. Which unfortunately involves waking up before 4 a.m. to shadow Akari at work. Madoka learns that Akari is a superstar idol in every possible way, but that doesn't shed any light on why she was so eager to be Madoka's partner. Eventually, Akari explains that she values growing alongside other people so much that she wanted to see what she could learn from Madoka as her partner. That is a pretty arbitrary reason for picking Madoka. It kind of sounds like she could have picked anyone using that logic, but the mundane reasoning satisfies Madoka. It was way more realistic than Akari being her special, unique soulmate or something silly like that. So they end their workday skipping into the sunset, which inspires their unit name, Skips. With Madoka's new understanding of Akari, they settle on their dynamic. Madoka is happy as long as Akari is helping her grow as an idol, and Akari is happy as long as she can try out being a good mentor. The lack of personal connection in their partnership doesn't bother them because they're focused on what they're getting out of the experience. That's why when Skips enters Starlight Academy's Unit Cup competition, Madoka mostly just follows Akari's lead, even when they lose their costumes right before their performance. At first, Akari refuses to ask anyone for help looking for them, but she eventually gives in when Madoka gets worried. And as soon as someone else has a better solution, Madoka is following their lead instead. In the end, Akari is able to win Madoka's trust back by flexing her gratitude for the fans' muscles and apologizing for her mistake. Her idol persona is so polished and consistent that Madoka can't help but buy into it. If manually sorting through a pile of presents when they're supposed to be on standby backstage was the way to attract a fanbase, Madoka would commit to the bit. And to Akari's credit, it works out perfectly. The backstage antics of the competition are broadcast live as part of the event, and viewers at home are encouraged to vote for their favorite participants. So the gratitude for fans angle goes over great, and so does the time pressure, so they basically won before they've even stepped foot on stage. When Skips are announced as the winners of the Unit Cup, Madoka is hardly surprised. Their victory earns them a lot more publicity, and they quickly become busy with promotional work. But before too long, Akari becomes busy with a different unit, Luminous, that she forms with Sumire and their friend Hinaki. So the Skips hype train ends unceremoniously. Luminous forms in order to participate in a new competition for 3-member units, which Madoka also wants to join. Mostly because it's a joint competition with Starlight Academy's high school division, and she wants to stand on stage alongside as many famous senior idols as possible. Luckily, Rin and their friend Juri have also lost their unit partners to Luminous, so the three of them naturally join forces to seize the opportunity. It is an awkward joining of forces, but Madoka does her best to make logical suggestions to fix it. Her main idea is that one of them should be assigned the center member for the other two to adapt to, but Juri has seniority and shuts her down. With some more trial and error, they're able to find a direction for their competition performance and a name, Vanilla Chili Pepper. Madoka even becomes confident that they'll be able to win. They only make it to 5th place, but she still seems happy with their result. And for the next 4 months, Madoka's career wanders. She has a variety of gigs with her friends and has a lot of fun, but no serious momentum as an idol. Her biggest chance arrives with the announcement of the Starlight Queen Cup, Starlight Academy's middle school tournament to decide the top student. Madoka makes it her goal to become the cutest Starlight Queen of all time and enters alongside Rin. She gets a bit of a boost from a rare Skips interview that she does with Akari, but her friends quickly become preoccupied with their own Starlight Queen campaigns. Madoka knows that she will need more support to be a real contender for the competition, so she starts seeking out her grandmother for help. But even though they spend days discussing her dress, her songs, and everything else they can think of, they don't end up going with any of the new ideas they come up with. They decide to recreate Madoka's first Angely Sugar performance in her Angely Alice dress. Maybe it's a strategic appeal to nostalgia, or an attempt to stick to Madoka's comfort zone, or simple laziness on the part of the writers, but it is an odd choice. Specifically because we know that Madoka and Asuka came up with new ideas and then didn't use them. Whatever happened, it doesn't help Madoka focus on the competition. She gets insecure about her friendship with Rin, even though they still spend plenty of time together. She just doesn't like how busy they both are, and she decides to reserve a concert hall for them to hold a joint performance. She's very lucky that Rin is totally down to do it. Out of respect for their limited time, Madoka works hard at their training sessions, which is why it's confusing when Rin asks to end practice early on the day before their performance. She wants to go out and have some fun, and Madoka hesitantly agrees. She's happy to be taken out into town though, and only gets more curious when Rin insists on keeping her plans a secret. The evening gets better when Rin takes her hand and pulls her away from the growing number of fans watching them, taking her all the way up to a hilltop cafe she'd had her eye on. They go inside, and Rin reveals the surprise: a birthday tea party on February 14th, Madoka's birthday and also Valentine's Day. Madoka is surprised that Rin remembered that it was her birthday, and that she's taken such valuable time to prepare a surprise for her. It's possible that Madoka planned their concert as a sort of birthday gift to herself, but she's so touched by Rin's gesture that it seems more like she'd been planning to ignore the day entirely. Rin tells Madoka that her birthday is important to her, and that she made the cake herself, and that she wanted to show her the sunset view from the cafe. And the whole time, Madoka is just barely keeping it together. She's so happy she could cry, and shout, "Rin, I love you," on their walk home. She doesn't even mind when a couple of fans hear her and approach them for autographs. In fact, she draws a heart around their signatures. "We're what you'd call best friends," Madoka says proudly. That night, when the two of them get back to their dorm room, they talk about how happy they are together, and how that happiness will never change. They're over the moon at their concert the next day, and agree to stay friends forever. Although this experience appears to have been one big distraction from the upcoming Starlight Queen Cup, it does seem to help Madoka in the long run. With her confidence in Rin restored, Madoka feels much more relaxed about going through the competition with her. She believes that they'll place well, and she turns out to be right. They don't win, but they get pretty close. By the end of the Starlight Queen Cup, Madoka is in 4th place and Rin is in 6th, well within the runner-up group's 8th place cutoff. And it's probably that concert they did together that helped them get the extra votes they needed. In her runner-up speech, Madoka solidifies a new goal. "It's thanks to all of your support that I was able to take the stage relaxed and ready. I'm not going to slow down, and next year the title of Queen will be mine. Thank you, everyone." Madoka's last major appearance is at the after party for the competition, eating a giant slice of cake with Rin, which I think is fine, and her trajectory as an idol seems pretty clear. The Aikatsu official guidebook Akari Generation says that, looking forward to next year, Madoka aims for further growth. I personally imagine her succeeding in becoming Starlight Queen, but I'm not sure how much of that success would be due to the activities we see in the show. Although she's still one of my favorite characters, Madoka's arcs feel a bit underwhelming on closer inspection. They hold up just well enough to not be tragedies, but they're not exactly aspirational either. Her conflicting fear of idolhood and desire to earn her grandmother's approval make for a very interesting conflict. And I think Akari, who has a similar motivation, is the perfect person to inspire her. That's why my biggest critique for her story is her relationship with Akari. Skips becomes a dead end for Madoka when Madoka stops getting to see Akari's vulnerability. They initially connect when Akari admits that she's insecure about her worthiness as an idol, but their next bonding episode is all about how perfect Akari is as an idol, so their personal connection vanishes. Even though Madoka has earned her grandmother's approval, Akari just becomes a new authority figure for her to idolize. We don't get to see Madoka's reaction to Akari leaving her for Luminous, we just know that she's cool with it, and that they then go on to have a few scattered jobs together after that. It's very telling that the biggest Skips interaction we get in Season 4 is Madoka visiting Akari before her Starlight Queen performance, encouraging her to win so that she can brag about her partner becoming Starlight Queen. It paints their relationship in a very transactional light, especially since their heart-to-heart conversations never make a reappearance after they get together. And we could say that Madoka is just a detached, transactional character, but we see how deeply she cares about Rin, so that's not accurate either. In my Rin deep dive, I talk about how insecure the writers seem to be about Madoka and Rin's friendship, viewing it as an unresolved plot thread. But I think they were actually just responding to Madoka's unclear direction in Season 4. As much as I enjoy the Mado-Rin Valentine's episode, Madoka and Rin's relationship was not what was missing from her story. It was a genuine partnership with Akari. Akari is a character who in many ways needed to become a mentor to complete her own character arc, and Madoka was a character who could relate to her, being afraid, feeling weak, and getting perhaps unfairly admitted to Starlight Academy. One of Akari's main problems narratively is that she's not forced to confront her insecurities. Madoka is a character who brings up people's insecurities in a playful context, and who is shown to find Akari easy to read. The two of them genuinely make good foils for each other. Akari does have the kind of perseverance that Madoka could learn from, and they could mutually come to terms with their weaknesses to achieve stronger self-reliance together. That would go a long way for bolstering the overall emotional stakes of the Akari generation, and it could be done in just a few honest conversations. Madoka's story might not be the slam dunk redemption that I wish it was, but it does give me a clearer picture of what I would have wanted the series to look like. And in that way, it's a fitting conclusion to my Akari Gen analysis project. My next character deep dive will be for Niji no Yume and Aikatsu Stars, so I'm excited to see how the Aikatsu franchise evolves with her story. Thank you so much for watching! There are only a few big videos left in our original series era, and I hope you're excited for them. Let me know your thoughts about Madoka in the comments below, and keep an eye out for our original series song ranking in a few weeks. Bye bye!
It's a graduation ceremony!